Hey guys, how's it going? So, real quick, we're gonna go through these as fast as possible, speedrun this. Then I'm gonna talk about the gyms announcement too as well, because I'm pretty much gonna be going one of those, probably in Sanguinate. Reap might be the better for single target, or yeah, probably better single target. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I might try some swapping things or something like that. They seem to pretty much scale the same way. I also brought up some other pages here because I'm going to talk about some build recommendations for starter builds, and then I'm going to go over the tree that I've made at least, and for the build I'm going to be doing, and we'll kind of go from there. But anyway, let's go ahead and try to speed run these patch notes real quick. Usual stuff here about, just the usual spiel. Major changes, looks like we have the Veiled Mod currency, which is what I'm most interested in down here, the Veiled Chaos Orb, and that could be some crazy crafting. Definitely going to see some really cool physical stuff, I think. I think there's some mods down later, so we'll definitely check those out. Also, vendor recipes that are new, that'll be awesome to figure out. The next thing they have is under the minor changes. I don't think I had anything that stood out to me. Ritual, I think, was the next thing. The main thing is it's definitely going to be seen less. So hopefully it doesn't feel really bad to get something that you really want when you finally find a ritual that has something you want. Moving on into Harvest, though, which also with Ritual, it would be kind of cool if Harvest was moved to like early game and you had some really cool Ritual and Harvest things that you could do while you leveled, and you could go ahead and craft some really cool things. I think moving this would also get rid of, the power of it being a crazy thing to craft with late game, and also, just putting a cap on, for low level weapons. I'm sure there would be some builds that could take advantage of some of the mechanics for lower level items. For instance, I think Carve did a wand trick one time by de-leveling a character. So there'd be some builds that could definitely take use of it. But as far as just, slamming things with Exalt stuff, they could make it insanely powerful for leveling if they wanted to. Ritual is also a pretty good mechanic for leveling as well and starting out. I'm hoping this league's mechanic will kind of be the same, so I'm pretty hyped to try it right when I get started. With Harvest, though, I mean, it's still powerful. The main thing is down below with Zana, it's on that, and it is crazy cheap, which is ridiculous. But yeah, that's pretty much my idea for Harvest, and yeah, the other than oh, yeah, the chance that you could get nothing is actually a problem. I don't really like that, you have like 4 seeds of something and you could get 0 of it. They need to at least make that to where you get 1 craft of whatever you get. But, I mean, they wanted to lessen it, so there we go. But I don't know. I don't like it. It needs to be at least 1 of whatever shows up. Okay, moving on into the other leagues. Abyss League, got to look at the stats from the Jules. Blight, definitely going to be doing some blighted maps. Betrayal is going to be amazing this league. I can't wait to try to see what these tier 4s are. If they're a bit underwhelming, then that's going to be really rip, but hopefully they're not. Bestiary, pretty cool. They fixed the farming, so that's definitely going to be better for most players now. If you want to farm some beast, let's go. Breach, the Breach Stone, being able to upgrade those is ridiculous. Delirium Rebalance, kind of interesting there. Hopefully that feels good for everybody. Definitely going to be better for, I think, lower players if I understood this correctly. And so it's more consistent. Delve. The one thing I don't like about the Delve thing is I made a video about Delve, and people that are going deep Delve, I think, should still be really rewarded. But, it's nice that they, brought the bottom up a little bit. I just think they should have kept the top up there and just brought the bottom up. So, I don't know. Kind of awkward. I think anybody that's going hard into something should definitely be rewarded in that category. Can't wait to Essence Craft. They're going to be crazy, especially with the Atlas bonus for getting essences. Heist. Didn't do Heist at all last league. Probably won't again unless I do this time. We'll see. Incursion. Being able to trade them is fantastic. Can't wait to do that. I want to see what the flash powder keg stuff will do as well. Legion, Legion, I didn't really see anything that jumped out here for me, but incubators is going to be cool, I guess. Getting new incubators. Metamorph changes, the new catalyst, I can't wait to see what I can put on there and how much that actually affects gameplay with the crit specifically. That's going to be really cool. Brandis, vendors will no longer offer any scroll fragments in exchange for Brandis coins. That's kind of funny. It's just kind of going to be interesting seeing if the selection of items sold by Katero has been modernized and their cost have been adjusted accordingly. Hopefully. It's funny getting an item that really is worth nothing that is too many coins. Synthesis changes, fracture items no longer have visual effect. Okay, cool. And then the talisman change was very weird, but okay. I already talked about that in the last video. Can't wait for Labyrinth. Going to be able to hopefully get Uberlab faster and get the helm enchant that I want finally. Big things here in the character balance. Max character size, RIP, down here at the bottom is now 100%. So RIP. Other than that, though, we have low life being 50% now. I definitely want to try that. That's up here. And then the headhunter, it can drop everywhere now. But where is it here? The hexes, as you are not your enemy. Well, that pretty much nerfs like the one of the biggest reasons for using it. Now, a headhunter is still going to be insanely strong, but there goes that crazy forever being buffed with all the stuff. Moving on into the skills, though, we have Blade Blast barely getting nerfed. It's still close to 30%, something around 30%. This thing could have been nerfed 50%, and it still would have been gross. This is a bit more devastating than this, really, but still 10% off that, not that big of a deal. You can still do hit, and then now pretty much the poison version is going to be the best, and that's going to be one of the league starters if you haven't seen up here at the top. Blade Vortex. Quality of life, when anything gets quality of life nerf, that is really bad. That is kind of rip. So probably going to be staying away from Blade Vortex. Now, Evolved Blade Vortex did get a buff, but probably, as of right now, going to wait and see what people do with that before I even, mainly just look and see how it feels to play. Blade Storm. Looks great for bleed. I definitely want to try it. Flesh and Stone, that makes sense. It's still going to be in every build I play pretty much. Frostbomb, really hate to see that. I wish they would just get rid of the trigger stuff so that you can automate things. Just get rid of that and buff that back up. Make people cast it. Not that hard to do. Just cast things, people. General Cry, yeah. Cool. Fair enough. Punishment, I was expecting this to get nerfed more. Seismic Cry, still insanely strong. Not really that big of a deal. Didn't really pay attention to anything that would grant skills that you could use with Spellslinger, but there's that. Carrion Golem was completely insane, and if just looking at the approximately 11% less damage, and even with this being nerfed, it's still probably going to be insane. Might affect its clear a little bit, though, if the Cascade is what I think it is. Toxic Rain, definitely questionable. It's either going to be pretty rip or still just fine. The main thing is the area of effect. The more area you have, possibly the less damage you're going to deal to a single target, because it could be way too far apart. Vigilant Strike, this one's kind of a big oof because they didn't really touch Fortify in this patch at all. And Fortify is probably more of the main problem. If they're going to do this, they also need to hit Fortify, because right now, if you're going to be playing hardcore, and also one of the recommendations I've got, it's going to be Champion something. Anything. Champion crazy with Fortify effect. Moving on to Vitality, though. Got a slight nerf. I'm still probably going to have it in just about every build in some way. So Vitality, still cool. Inquisitor can double it, so super nice. Wave of Conviction. Now has added damage effectiveness. So a bit of a damage buff, but the main thing, same with Frost Orb, or Frost Bomb, rather. I just get rid of the automation, buff that back up, please. But yeah. Other than that, it just got a decent buff, looks like. So, cool. Anybody doing Wave of Conviction builds? Have fun. Ball skills. Now you get 2% of boss life. Now has a 1-second cooldown, and then you get 6 souls, which is great. Now we have soul gain prevention has been lessened on a lot of things. So Vol Arc getting a bit better, so cool. We have Vol Blade Vortex, which this is nice. Now stores up to 2 charges mainly. Other than that, it did get some nerf to damage, but since you can have 2 out, that is kind of insane. So maybe this makes up for it, but as far as just Blade Vortex's normal clear, that's going to feel rip. And the Soul Gain Prevention actually went up from this one. Vol Blight, 1 second on Soul Gain Prevention. Burning Arrow, this is pretty hype. You got 4 uses, 15 souls now, and 1 second prevention time. One of the biggest winners here, Vol Cold Snap. Loving this. I'm definitely going to play Vol Cold Snap at some point because I loved using it in my Cold Dot Occultist build, and it just got better, which is kind of insane and amazing. They also buffed the on-hit damage to dumb levels, so we'll see if anything comes from that. Literally from 1,500 to 2,356. That's pretty crazy. Moving on though, Vol Cyclone, cool and whatnot. Vol Earthquake, here we go. The other big one. The damage buff here is pretty... Oh wait, not Vol Earthquake, but it did get a buff. Cool. Sorry, I'm talking Vol Ground Slam. We'll get to that in a second. But oops, thought I've got ahead of myself. Fireball, 1 second down. Flame Blast, looking pretty good. I think this is better area. I don't know, but either way, more damage, which is ridiculous. Vol Ground Slam, here we go. The other big winner and something to look out for. Crazy damage buff, 60% on that for 250%. Actually, sorry, 400% to 300%, or from 300%. Insane. You got 4 uses now. Have fun destroying any boss with your 4 ground slams. Vol Ice Nova. Again, why did they buff this? What in the world are they thinking? It could already, boom, you click and you clear the entire Legion thing. When you hit that, everything's gone. Now you've got 2 uses and you just clear everything instantly. Like, this is going to be gross. So you want one of the craziest skills ever, Vol Ice Nova, have fun. Rip, that's cool, I guess. And I believe that is it. Righteous Fire, I don't know if I'm going to be using it in some of my builds now. It's only a 19% more multiplier from a 28%. So maybe not as worth. They did increase some of the... now deals, what is this, 99 previously? Oh, wait, hang on a sec. Oh, they nerfed the damage? Now sacrifices 60%? Oh, I didn't notice that. Okay, sorry, I looked at this and read it backwards. So they actually nerfed the damage on it. Okay, Righteous Fire build that I was going to do dead, never mind. 99%, holy shit, that's kind of ridiculous. Because I actually liked my Inquisitor build, so can't recommend that one anymore. Vol Power Siphon, cool stuff. And that's about it. Vol Spectral Throw, as of right now, probably a meme, but maybe one day. They need to lower that to like 2 or something. But hammered in, let's go. One day, I believe. I believe they'll do it. Also, Vol Stormcall, definitely kind of interesting to see that getting in there as well. Passive tree balance, they've really added some stuff. They mainly changed Chain Breaker and a few things like that. I already talked about that in the other video. Won't really cover that too much here. Definitely, it kind of sucks for some of these, like this one, Corrupted Soul, and the one that you get from either the belt or actually leeching. Mainly, that's the maximum leech rate that was covered above. Can't really do that anymore, so that kind of sucks. Atlas passive balance. I guess really the only main one that is in here is the one with the Harbinger. Now it's like a King Harbinger. We'll have to wait and see what that means. Does it mean that it just spawns a bunch in slowly, or do you get the same thing, or you have one big fight and then you get a decent bit of loot but not as much as before? Yeah, that one's definitely one to pay attention to and find out. Moving on though, the Gladiator got straight damage over time. There's a lot of nodes on the tree that is just now physical damage over time, which is great. So physical damage over time on the Gladiator, pretty cool. Gonna be definitely testing something out with the corrupted blood stuff and seeing how that works. The other thing is you can use anything from Insanguinate to Reeve, Reap as well, to take advantage of the more physical damage over time. I thought about doing Gladiator, but I think I'm going to take a different direction and try Elementalist. The main difference being you get a 25% more here, but with Elementalist you can get Shock, which I feel is kind of the same thing, and having physical damage reduction stuff. Well, I'll get to that when I get to the build. Moving on, finishing up here, I think we're getting close. Item balance. Didn't really see anything that completely stood out to me here. I think one of the things was, hang on, I'll find it here. Oh yeah, the 60% chance to inflict. We're pretty much just gonna have to wait and see what that number changes to. That's pretty much the biggest thing. I can't really recommend my bleed build until then. Although some of the single target bleed, if you're just fighting 1 or 2 bosses, can work pretty well since the Salem helmet is in there pretty quick and easy. There was another one here that had something to do with, there's a helmet that's been changed so that you are considered full life rather than low life, I believe. I just can't remember where it is. That might be in unique items. A friend of mine told me about that, and definitely interested to see what comes of that with the new low life stuff. Essence balance. Okay, so here's the main thing. Lots of cool things here with the essences going up and getting buffed. Like, for instance, Deafening Essence of Contempt, 73 over the 66. Pretty cool seeing essences getting buffed. Going to be doing a lot of essence crafting. Really cool for seeing some of this armor stuff here. I was kind of hoping when I saw this that they would also up the armor for shields and stuff too, but nah, that's kind of ripped. Other than that, though, the other big winners is is it Hysteria? Which one's the one that has the fire attack thing on hit? It's where you put it on your weapon and it has the fire thing. It's one of these. Not Delirium. Horror? No. Essence of Hysteria, I thought it was. 25% chance. Ah, right here is... No? Hang on. Where's it at? Darn it. Ah, Fireburst. No, right here it is. Yeah, okay, that's right. That's how they put it. It's all in a bunch of different things. So 1 second cooldown from 0.5. So definitely want to get the cooldown reduction, but now it's 100% chance to actually work. 6% crit chance, added effectiveness, 340%, which is insane. And the radius is now 24 over 15, and the damage is more than double. So even though they doubled the cooldown, you get all of this. That is ridiculous. So Fireburst build is definitely something to try to look into at some point once the league gets going. Now, also plenty of extra buffs to certain essences, but that's the main one that stood out to me. Abyss Jules, looking at these numbers, I didn't really look at them too long, but looks kind of rip. I was hoping to see a lot of it going back to where it was, but sadly not so much. Mainly just looks like minion stuff got hit, and then chance to avoid things. Possibly using things like chance to avoid stun might be a pretty cool thing. But other than that, not the big hype amount of buffs that I was kind of expecting or hoping for the Abyss Jules. Sadly, I don't think they'll be coming back as much, though we do have that one unique one to make a build with the Savior and Paradoxica. Cluster Jewel, balance, some stuff. Nothing really too crazy here. I definitely like that we're just getting physical damage over time stuff with what my build is planned out, but nothing that was too much affecting me and builds that I've done in the past. Really cool to see that they have done changes to the oils here, and it makes sense what they said. It looks like it, is going to be better as you go up in rarity, and mostly I like Blight and getting better rewards now, so this is going to be really cool with mods. Can't wait to do some Blighted maps. Veiled mods, these look really strong. Like I said, the everything that they have here, as far as getting the unveiled version, is going to be really cool, but the problem is going to be just the ones that you can craft, though they have definitely went down. So for instance, these damage over time ones kind of sucks, but they're just a bit weaker than what they were before. Then we have added a physical damage over time multiplier modifier, which I'm guessing is going to be the same as these. I'll probably be using that in whatever build I do. Then we have, let's see, I think that's about it as far as those that were stand out a lot for crafted things. Whoops, sorry about that beep. Then we have, oh yeah, the trigger got reduced to or doubled in time, so that's not that big of a deal really overall. Death Sora, I would love to do a Death Oath build. Definitely going to look into it, but we'll see. Especially since I just found out my Righteous Fire one kind of got wrecked a little bit. Vigil is now just for people around you pretty much, because it's lower than what Fortify or the Vigilant Strike is itself. And if I can find it here real quick, I'll talk about that helmet. Is it the... Nope. I'm not seeing it. Null's Inclination got nerfed a bit as well. I think that's for the Worm Blaster build. RIP. But yeah. One of these here. I can't remember which one it is. But just to keep this quick, moving on. Now we have Incursion uniques changes. Nothing too crazy seemed to stand out to me here as well. But if there is anything, let me know in the comments that I've missed. Monster changes, didn't really care about those too much. Zana stuff, Harvest just being too cheap is the main thing. But cool, I guess. Other than that, that's pretty much the main stuff here. Here's a bunch of the bug fixes on screen. But like I said, let me know in the comments if there's been anything. What is this down here? Vol skill gems now can only be obtained from a set of specific methods such as corrupting gems, Vol side areas, divination cards. Okay. That's weird. I mean, isn't that... What am I missing there? I'm missing something there, I guess. Efficacy support... Oh, maybe because you could find them in every other reward, maybe? Now you have to get them... Okay, maybe that's what it's saying. Efficacy support can now be purchased from Nessa. Nice. Okay. Oh, okay. Right after the completing the Cage Brute. Oh, isn't that a little bit later than where it is? I think it's a level 4 last league. Maybe they thought that was a little too powerful with things like Flame Maw. But yeah, looks cool. Moving on to the gems though. Looking at the numbers here, so pretty much we have the damage per second for Corrupting Fever, 335.4, and buff duration is refreshed after you spend a total of 205 life. Freaking this skill still requires paying its cost. So kind of interesting that it says that. But mainly, yeah, this is going to be interesting seeing if this can actually be effective enough that you can dot down enemies. We'll see if you can combine this with some kind of bleed at the same time. I'm going to be trying this with a Blade Storm at some point. The Sanguinate is probably my league starter, or Reap. They're pretty much kind of the same thing. Only Reap has some cool charge stuff. Whenever anything dies, you lose a charge, but as you attack, you gain a charge if the skill hits enemies, and none of them die. So the more charges you have, the more damage, and the more dot damage at the same time. And the big thing is going to be, oh, sorry, the more damage and the more life it costs to use it. But yeah, hopefully that doesn't get too punishing, but I would love to see how effective that can be on a boss. Then we have Petrified Blood. That's going to be the whole low life thing. I'm really curious to see if this is overpowered. Either this, pretty much the whole Petrified Blood and low life thing is going to be either too strong or not strong enough. Then we have Insanguinate. Insanguinate is going to be probably what I start with to begin with, and then we'll go from there. But looks like the damage is a bit less than Reap, but at the same time, hopefully we can scale it with enough increases, because also modifiers to spell damage applied to the skill's damage over time effect as well. And I believe this does the same thing. Modifiers to spell damage, yes. So both of them pretty much kind of the same skill. They just apply differently and hit differently. This just kind of tendrils out to 9 targets, and this is a nice swing thing in front of you. Then we have Arrogance. Pretty cool for auras. It's just blood magic for auras. Then we have bloodthirst support, which is kind of going to be interesting to see how this ends up working out. Is this the one, or wait, is this the one that I'm thinking of? The maximum life while on low life. Oh, sorry, yeah. Added supported attacks deal added physical damage with weapons equal to 2% of maximum life while on low life. Yeah, that's right. This is the low life thing. So this would be kind of cool. It's got more damage to it as well. And there goes that beep. I apologize again. Need to figure that out right after this. More damage with hits for the Cruelty. And Cruelty is going to be kind of interesting. It's from supported skills grant Cruelty. But yeah, life tap support. We'll go ahead and see what we got. Oh yeah, this is the one that's kind of crazy. This is great for dot builds because it's just a more damage multiplier while you have life tap. And it essentially just makes your skills cost life, which is pretty great. And you gain it after using so much life. Well, with anything like Sanguinate or Reap, you're definitely going to be hitting that really quick and easy. Okay. So went ahead and looked up Cruelty. So yeah, that could be quite insane. It's based on the initial hit. So Reap definitely going to be using it most likely if you're doing both, or mainly a dot build, or even the hit build, or kind of a both situation. But it can also be used for anything that has big hits for also big bleeds, because it looks like it goes up to 50% more damage based on the hit. So it's something like Earthquake Bleed probably would really like to use this. So that's pretty cool indeed. Now, moving into some build suggestions, and then I'll talk about what I'm doing. So, Ice Nova. So what I did here is I just searched Ice Nova in the search bar on YouTube, and I found we have the Hierophant Ice Nova. This build looked kind of okay. It does say starter. I didn't exactly look at the items, but the main thing is I've played in some hardcore stuff, and here's an example from Mathil actually, where he played Ice Nova in the Gauntlet event. And Ice Nova is great. It's a little awkward to get used to, but once you get used to the playstyle, if you like throwing out those orbs and then popping the Ice Nova, it is insane. And the big thing is now you have two uses of the Vol Ice Nova, so your clear will instantly, once you get the build online, destroy the entire Legion. Pretty cool. And you're definitely not wanting to do the cast on crit, you're wanting the self-cast ones here. Mainly these two right here are exactly what I'm talking about. So if you find one of those that look like that, can definitely suggest Ice Nova. The Cold Dot Occultist. I even did one myself for a build. I actually looked at my build just to see where it was and just to see if it would actually show up in this list. Catmaster, decent one. Looks like doing more of a Vortex thing. The main thing you want is more of a Cold Snap, or at least to where Cold Snap and Vol Cold Snap exist. I've not looked at this one, but that would be kind of the idea. You have plenty of them out here. Gazzy's got, looks like 2 just right there. So, Catmaster probably one to look at. Gazzy is probably not a bad one to look at. A lot of them, though, are using CI and the trigger stuff. Personally, I never did, and they were fantastic. It got me through Betrayal League, and that was one of the deadliest leagues, period. And then moving on to the next one, which is a gross build, period. Went ahead and checked out some of these. I went ahead and checked Ziz's because he's doing great with the guides. I think he's doing it with a team now, but you could even go back to his Chieftain one, more of an on-hit. There was another one here that I saw that looked pretty good. Big Ducks has one here that doesn't look too bad. Yeah, they're pretty crazy. You're definitely going to probably want Poison. If you like Poison builds, then this is an insane build for you. It's going to have crazy damage all around. Definitely can recommend looking at Ziz's as well. The Hierophant build didn't look too bad, so you could also check out this one up here. And then if you want something more with hit, you can do the Chieftain probably still just fine. And the Inquisitor one here is more based on the hit as well. Moving on to now the Ground Slam stuff. I didn't really look at the Berserker here, but Ground Slam looks insane. Pretty much these two are probably the two you're going to only look at, because the Impel stuff got hit last league anyway, so probably not the best thing to look at. But here we go, 2 hours ago and 1 day ago. That's a Slayer and a Berserker version. Now the thing is, I would probably recommend trying to adapt something like, here's Alkaiser's champion version, and Alkaiser, I believe, went in with a champion and did Earth Shatter and won the gauntlet. So as far as survivability, that build is definitely really good, and you could probably adapt Ground Slam and Volley Ground Slam to it. And at the very least, you always have something to fall back on with something like Earth Shatter as well. So that is pretty much my recommended builds, and now I'm going to go into my skill tree that I've planned for my Insanguinate, and we'll go ahead and check out, well, what that looks like. And I've actually already changed it once, but here we go. The main idea is to take the minion stuff over here, so you can come up through here and path this way, get a bunch of golems. Going to be doing damage over time, so we're going to go with Shock. I loved leveling with Bastion of Elements before. This is kind of insane. For defense, it's still going to be crazy good, even though it kind of got hit just a wee bit. Golem's effect is really good. Then I found out that there's Golem effect on large cluster jewels as well. So going that route with some damage over time stuff with Rend and just some generic life. I haven't figured out what I want on the life stuff, but I just went and put 2 life in just to kind of put the points just to see where it stands. I've already taken some of the nodes here. I kind of thought about branching down here and getting some more life this way and taking this, but right now I just got it anointed just to kind of, I mean, none of the effects actually work right now, but just as an idea. Probably, I might get rid of this depending on how this works. Don't know how much I'm going to actually be stunning, and 25% might not be the biggest deal for just 2 points. The damage over time multiplier here is definitely great to have. I don't know how skill effect is going to be. If skill effect doesn't feel bad, then I'm going to get rid of these and probably path down this way or path up this way over here to connect it this way, and then get this large cluster jewel and put another large one in for the Golem effect to increase that even further. The main thing with Golem effect is increasing it enough to where I get more physical damage reduction and more regen from both Stone Golem and Chaos Golem. And of course the damage is nice as well. But the generic damage is going to be crazy. Definitely, since I'm going to be trying to just pay it with life, I'm going to try to reserve pretty much all the mana I can and try to get around with as little to no mana as possible. So I've taken these nodes just to see. I don't exactly what I'm going to fit with all the auras, but we're going to try it. And plus, with the nerf to Flesh and Stone, I can definitely use that to kind of mitigate that a bit. Other than that, I can definitely get rid of some points. I took this because I don't know how the cost is going to be that affected, but we could get rid of that as well. And overall, I just have a couple of pieces of gear in just to give me an idea of some of the stats, like health and things. So my final health, when I just threw on some health gear, was going to be about 6.5k. We'll see how that turns out. But definitely can be flexible on this tree a little bit. Again, this is completely experimental, so you could use this tree as a template and try it. But if this build sucks, then I'll probably restart in a few days and give an update video. But yeah, that's my idea for either a Reap or a Insanguinate. I'm going to try Insanguinate first, and we'll see what happens, and then go from there. But anyway, guys, usual stuff in the description, Twitch, Twitter, Discord, stuff like that. This has been a little bit longer than I expected, but patch notes are always huge. Anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe, all that. Path to 1,000 subs, let's go. But anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one. Peace!